Hi Virgo. Welcome to your mid-October 2018 Tarot and Astrology reading. So, full moon, Taurus. That's a big one. That is your 9th house, I believe, of travel. And expansion and philosophy and higher thinking. And, and we have the sun moving into Scorpio on the 23rd. And that is your 3rd house of communications. So, global communications as a theme for the last 2 weeks of October. And you could be communicating with people on the other side of the world, whether it be for romance, whether it be for work, whether it be you've more of an outreach, people are more interested in listening to you, whether they're from this culture, that culture, any culture. Diversity, Virgo. Bigger thinking. Think bigger than you've been doing so far, because you may have been underselling yourself, as the pattern goes for Virgo in general, and the last few weeks. The last few months even, I've noticed a pattern in Virgos underselling themselves and having to come to the conclusion this month that you're very valuable and you're very important. The sun has been in Libra, which is your financial sector, so you may be coming up in the world with that new moon in Libra just passed. And the final 2 weeks are sort of about wrapping up the conclusion of how big you can go. You know, go big or go home. Bold. Be bold. Unleash your adventurous side. Take risks and be daring. Exactly. Expansive. Think big. I have no doubt there's some Virgos watching that are very uncomfortable right now. So, let's see what the cards have to say to complement the astrology of the energy in the last 2 months of October. So, I think a full moon in a fellow earth sign is going to be enough to give you a bit of a kickstart into Scorpio season, which is going to be your 3rd house. You're going to have more of an ability to communicate your wants and your needs and your ideas. And it's ideas are the most important part of the last 2 weeks, Virgo. Especially as we move into the end of the year, you have things in your mind that need an audience. You have ideas that need to be created, you know? Like, if you want a job done right, you ask a Virgo. 3 of Swords is the current situation. 3 of Pentacles is in the hopes and fears. What is helping you is the 7 of Wands. What is hindering you is the 3 of Wands. And the outcome is the 9 of Cups. And underneath, High Priestess. I'm quite excited about this one now, so I will see you in a second to go over the cards, Virgo. So Virgo, I must say this interests me. I give the cards a pretty good shuffle. I mean a pretty good shuffle. Between this reading and the Leo reading. In fact, I think I did one in between. But you got very similar cards. So I don't know if that's maybe the overlap between those of the Virgo and Leo community with neighbouring signs in your chart. But I am sensing a similarity, though the positions count so much at making this difference. So if you are both, you know, even if you're on the cusp, it's important to, you know, check out your sun, moon, rising as a trio. Okay, so Virgo, one thing that I want to make abundantly clear is that you are fighting for the right thing. Okay, it's interesting. This came up kind of an opposite tone to Gemini's, where they were maybe going down the road track or leading somebody else's dream. But for you, Virgo, you seem to be fighting the good fight. Like, you seem to know instinctively what is right and what's wrong in a situation, and what is right for you and what's wrong for you, and you seem to be going for it. I think you're actually going with your intuition quite strongly. here with the High Priestess underneath. You have a goal or a dream, and you're going to be down if someone tries to stand in the way of it. Okay? I think for a lot of you, this is career. For those of you in romance, I think you might actually have had a troublesome relationship or a troublesome issue in your relationships that has possibly been standing in the way of your success, right? So that's not to cast blame on anyone or anything, especially if you're cross-watching. Just bear in mind there's many factors that come from a Three of Swords. In fact, I've had it coming up for, you know, in readings is like disappointing news or just a disappointing circumstance, that type of thing. It's never just what it seems. I mean, sometimes it is, but it's not really just the one thing. It could be, you know, cards have multiple meanings. I noticed with the 3 threes, there is some sort of there is an opportunity for growth and the next steps. Now the problem is, though you know that you want to fight for this, and you're not going to let anybody stand in their way, there does seem to be a third option that's on the table still. Well, okay, listen, hear me out. You either have too many options or only the one. That's why I'm saying the Three of Wands in the challenge position. You either have other things taking your attention or that you have to rely on this one opportunity. So both are as concerning as the other, because when you have to fight for the one thing, it makes it more important. But when you have multiple options and you can't make up your mind, you don't get anywhere with anyone, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of what's challenging you at the moment to progress from. But you're fighting for it. You're going to put in the absolute most you can for this dream that's up here. For this goal. And it could be a fire sign. It could be a Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. But the Knight of Wands can also represent relocation and travel, and that is well aspected with this full moon. So maybe some of you want to travel. Although I do see the fire signs as being important. Okay, so moving forward from a heartbreak or a disappointment. There could be financial constraints on your move. Page of Swords is assisting you, so your communication is spot on. The Page of Cups is challenging you, so maybe it's your romantic life that's taking a backseat. This is definitely a career dream coming true, Virgo. Okay. And underneath we have the Page of Wands, which is good news surrounding work. Now, it could be the fire sign that I mentioned. However, you know, we have fire signs, we have water signs, we have air signs. Love seems to be the issue. So I think some of you have had to move on from a relationship and you're concentrating on your career. You're possibly rejecting the idea of romance at the moment because maybe you're so career focused. Or maybe, Virgo, you just really don't want to get hurt. And that's okay. Now, I almost sense that some of you had your heart so drastically broken here in the past position that you're very afraid of being restricted by a relationship, because if you're feeling heartbroken, maybe you can't give your all in work and you want to make your way up. You don't want any distractions. You don't want anything that's going to corrupt your progress or corrupt your mindset, because you're moving from a period of like a barren land into something really abundant. And you know, pastures new, and maybe you don't want something from the past to disrupt that. Or maybe you're in a relationship, but you have been hurt before and you're possibly avoiding, I mean, there's some sort of lack of emotional communication in love is what I'm seeing. So that can be in any situation though. It's more the energy of it. And the Page of Swords in the positive position suggests that you have the words. You maybe just don't necessarily have the emotion. Does that make sense, Virgo? Like, you can give your words and you can give your time, maybe not necessarily your heart. So, I mean, in terms of your goal, you're determined. Oopsies. Oop. Ace of Wands, Four of Swords, 10. King of Pentacles in the challenge, and the Four of Pentacles. And the Three of Cups is underneath, as you can see here. Okay, I'm still seeing the same story, Virgo. I think you are shut off from romance. And I think you're more in career mode. As I said, that made sense with Libra season. Sun's going to shift into Scorpio, though, and your communication skills are going to be wonderful. You're actually going to be very, very, very attractive, especially with the full moon. You're going to be very attractive to suitors. But you don't trust yourself. You're getting in your own way in romance, okay? So I think you're really, really coming to your own in career. You are climbing to the top of the ladder, and you're getting more money. I think a lot of you are manifesting more money now through effort, okay? So if you're not doing anything, I don't know. This to me suggests that you're really, really, really trying. You're really, really working to climb up. And I see it progress in you 9, 10. However, I think with the Four of Pentacles here, your concentration is a lot more on security rather than lavish living. It's like you're surrounded by opportunities, but there's sort of this miserly tone, and it's coming from fear. You know, I think miserly always comes from fear. It's a misunderstood emotion. It's a misunderstood spending habit in other people. It often manifests in folk that have been through debt or have been very upset by money in the past, and they want to keep their money to themselves. They want to save it, okay? Then they're labeled as cheapskates. I think from my experience, I've noticed that in people that have been through the ringer financially, okay? I see that fear here, possibly, for some of you. For some of you, it's money fear, and for some of you, it's romantic fear. But it is stifling your abundance. So you can have all the abundance coming in, and you're not necessarily maybe feeling grateful for it, or you're not feeling content by it. You're maybe not celebrating it. And the reason for that, Virgo, is that you are afraid. You have all of these great circumstances occurring around you. Something's holding you back, and it's getting in your own way. I think with the Three of Wands there, you are considering... You're considering the definition of successful. And whatever's happened, you don't think that you can have it all because something has ended, right? You like your security, that's fine. But life is transitional. So something, yeah, I think something's ended for you guys. I see 2 10s, and I think something finished. And you're moving into a new saga, which seems to be a lot better for you. But it's left a bit of a scar, and I don't think you want to progress too much in all areas. You're like, I'll concentrate on one and I'll be good. And I think it's career. I think a lot of you are burying your head in your career and just putting your nose to the grindstone and go, go, go. And I do think there's an opportunity for love. And I actually think, Virgo, it could be another earth sign. So it could be a Capricorn or Taurus or another Virgo. Maybe you're both in the same boat because this is challenging you. But you're also challenging yourself to be better, to do more, to be more successful. And I don't doubt your success, Virgo. Not with the planets the way they are. I don't doubt it with the way cards follow suit. But don't get too obsessed over your money. Don't get too obsessed over the notion of security. Because this guy, he's sitting pretty and content, but I don't know if you can see his body language. You know, he's getting what he wants. He's getting his wish fulfillment, but he's sitting with his arms crossed. He's like, this is enough for me. I don't need the 10. But the 10 is an option, right? I see a new love opportunity that you might very well want to miss because it's not necessarily secure. Now, in terms of options, though, and signs, I think there could be an air sign that's very compatible with you, and I think you may already know who they are. You might know that they like you. Or this could be somebody that you like that's an air sign. If it's an air sign, I really think it's reciprocated. It seems to be somebody that could be younger as well, but I think this is somebody who has a bit of, or a lot of admiration for you. So it's just to alert you to the fact, Virgo, that you can have this 10 of Cups, okay? It's in the positive position. Challenge is the 9 of Cups. You can settle there if you wanna manifest the 4 of Pentacles personality. You can stop at the 9 of Cups if you want to. But some of you seem to have an option for the 10. And I'm always going to recommend taking the 10 rather than the 9. But it's up to you, Virgo. I see very great messages in abundance for you this month end anyway. And when we have the sun progress into Scorpio, I think November is going to be an interesting month. So I will talk to you then. Bye.